Governor John Duncan certainly seems to have in his corner the leader of the opposition Virgin Islands Party, Andrew Foy, when it comes to the use of his constitutional power to have the government allocate more funds to the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force, RVIPF. A total of $1.88 million is being queried by the governor for an extradition case, a corrupt cops case, as well as for the offices of the Attorney General and Director of Public Prosecutions, in addition to the RVIPF. Opposition leader Andrew Foy has commended Governor John Duncan for what he has described as, quote, a great start, end quote. However, he wants the governor to go further. Mr. Foy is urging the governor to flex his constitutional muscles to have the government present outstanding audited financial statements to the House, investigate the over $30 million overspend on the Tortola Cruise Pier and Park, as well as the diversion of $8 million from the East End Long Look Sewage Project to the BVI Ports Authority. But the governor, speaking to journalists on March 16, 2017, said that is not a role for him to play in a democratic society such as the BVI. However, he added that he hopes the Dr. D. Orlando Smith administration is listening to the calls of the people it serves.
The Constitution is well designed. It's a modern Constitution, and it limits the powers of the governor, so that we have checks and balances, and we need those similar checks and balances, not the same, but checks and balances of a modern democracy. So I am not in a position to force the government to adopt certain legislation. It is up to the government to decide which legislation it gives priorities to. I think the people of this territory have moved a tremendous way in 40 years and developed a society in an extraordinary manner which very few countries could achieve. And I think they want the change in constitutional terms, and by that I don't mean just the Constitution, I mean the legislative terms, so that you have a freedom of information, you have a working register of members' interests, all these things that a modern society has. I think the people are calling for it. I hope the government is listening.
These inquiries, including what constitutes conflicts of interest on the part of members of the House who have contracts with the government, the opposition leader wants the governor to examine before he demits office in August. However, when that specific question was put to the governor by journalists at his last press briefing on March 23, 2017, he said that is the role of the legislative arm of the government.
The issue of conflict of interest is one I've made my views known on. But in many cases the action lies with the Assembly, not with the governor, and we have to bear in mind that we're operating under a constitution where there is separation of powers, and the governor cannot and should not get involved in what the Legislative Assembly is doing, and I hope the Legislative Assembly will take the required action.